What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about staked ETH, and more specifically, how you can make money betting that the price of staked ETH will return to parity with ETH. If you find these videos useful, consider contributing to my grant on Gitcoin. I'll put that link down below. If you're interested in learning more about DeFi and staying up to date on DeFi opportunities like this one, hit the subscribe button. Staked ETH was created by the DeFi protocol Lido as a way of bringing Ethereum's 2.0 staking rewards to current Ethereum proof-of-work users. People can stake on Ethereum 2.0 right now and earn around 4% rewards risk-free on their ETH. The problem is, Ethereum being staked on Ethereum 2.0's beacon chain cannot be moved back to proof-of-work Ethereum, which is the main Ethereum network that's being used today. What Lido has done is created a token on Ethereum's current proof-of-work mainnet that represents a token that's being staked on Ethereum 2.0. As soon as the ETH on Ethereum 2.0 becomes liquid or unstuck, these tokens will be able to be exchanged one for one. But in the meantime, holders of the staked ETH token still get yield as if they were staking it on ETH2, minus some fees by Lido. As you can see, there are over $4.5 billion worth of staked ETH right now. Theoretically, because staked ETH is redeemable for 1 ETH, the prices should be trading very close together. But as I'm sure you've seen in the last few weeks, that's not the case right now. The current price of staked ETH is $1,015, while the current price of Ethereum is $1,081. That means that staked ETH is trading at almost a 6% discount to ETH. The main reason that this has happened is because there's a liquidity crisis for staked ETH right now. Basically, a lot of different DeFi protocols have created leverage strategies to increase these 4% returns on staked ETH. These strategies rely on the fact that 1 ETH is equal to 1 staked ETH, which honestly wasn't a terrible assumption. But as more and more leverage has built up relying on staked ETH and ETH to be the same, there became this risk that if the price of staked ETH went below ETH, as it is right now, then there could be forced liquidations and forced selling of staked ETH, which would drive the price down even lower. Just the threat of these forced liquidations became almost a self-fulfilling prophecy and drove the price of staked ETH down lower. One of the biggest players using this strategy was Celsius, who froze all user withdrawals to prevent these mass liquidations. The really interesting thing is that there has never been any worry through any of this that Lido's staked ETH would not be redeemable for ETH at some point in the future. The only real thing that's driving down the price in the near term is this idea that there might be forced liquidations and therefore forced selling of the staked ETH. So, what does that mean for us? As soon as the ETH being staked on ETH 2.0 becomes liquid, these two should be trading exactly the same. It's hard to estimate exactly when this will happen because this is something that is scheduled to happen after the merge, and we all know that Ethereum timelines are not always accurate. But personally, I do have very high confidence that this will happen at some point in the future. So in the meantime, we're currently in a very unique situation where we have a very high confidence that the price of these two assets will be trading at parity or equal in the future, and they're not right now, which means that there's money to be made. Enter this USDC strategy. This is a strategy proposed by Samyak, who's one of the founders of Instadapp, and is an interesting way where you can earn returns on USDC betting that the prices of these assets will close together. I'll walk you through the strategy real quick and then show you how to actually implement it on Instadapp. The actual strategy is pretty intuitive. First, you just deposit your USDC, and then you use that USDC to borrow ETH. You can then swap this ETH for staked ETH at a discount, which means you'll end up with more staked ETH than ETH that you originally had. Then using this staked ETH, you can borrow whatever the difference is. In this example, the difference is 12 ETH. Swap that ETH for USDC and then redeposit that USDC back into Aave. It sounds a little bit complicated, but let's take a look at the final position. We start with just pure USDC, in this case $100,000 worth. And we end up with a little bit more USDC, as well as staked ETH as collateral and ETH as debt. As the price of staked ETH goes up in relation to the price of our debt, ETH, our collateral increases in relation to our debt, and we can close the position at a profit. In the case of the price of ETH going down, staked ETH and ETH should go down relatively about the same, which means that we're not at risk of liquidations and we actually don't lose any money. So this strategy will be profitable whether or not ETH goes up or down. The main risk that this strategy is facing is staked ETH going down more in relation to ETH. This is an extremely real possibility because all of these liquidity questions with staked ETH are still valid, and there could be a depegging event with cascading liquidation variations that drives the price of staked ETH down lower. So we just have to keep that in mind when we're deciding how much staked ETH and ETH that we're borrowing in relation to our initially deposited USDC. So how risky is this position? With the current numbers, Samyak outlines that there would be about a 32% depeg before the position is liquidated. But in reality, a depeg of staked ETH would probably cause the price of ETH and staked ETH to go down, which means that our USDC collateral would be a bigger portion of our overall position, and therefore the position would be more secure. So we actually need a higher depeg in order to liquidate this position. The opposite is also true, where if the prices of ETH and staked ETH go way up, then the collateral of our USDC becomes less significant overall and increases our chances of liquidation in the event of a depeg. So I'd say the biggest liquidation risk is if the prices of staked ETH and ETH rise slowly over the next few weeks, and then all of a sudden there's a depeg at these elevated price levels. That's just something that you'll have to watch with this position, and you always have the ability to add more USDC or just close out the position if staked ETH and ETH rise to a point where it gets more risky. And of course, that the leverage you actually use on these strategies is up to you. So let's get into actually implementing this on Instadapp. So currently, this strategy only works in mainnet on Instadapp because staked ETH is only available on mainnet. But a project manager at Lido has said that bridging to Optimism and Arbitrum for staked ETH is literally around the corner. So you should be able to use this strategy soon on those networks. But for now, I'm on mainnet and I'm in simulation mode. And first, we're going to trade all this ETH for USDC. So starting out, we're going to go to Aave and hit manage. Then we will supply our USDC to the Aave protocol. I'm going to do 100K. And this is in simulation mode. Hit supply, and then you would have to approve this transaction in your MetaMask. Okay, so we have our USDC here, and now we're going to leverage into Ethereum. Hit leverage. Our collateral will be USDC, and our debt will be in ETH. Go ahead and hit leverage. Okay, so now we have our USDC and our ETH. So now that we have borrowed that ETH, we can go to balance and then trade that for staked ETH. Unfortunately, it looks like Instadapp simulation doesn't give me the access to staked ETH, but if you're doing this on mainnet, you would have access here. So you could go to trade and then trade 100% of that for staked ETH. Then once you have that staked ETH, you can go ahead and deposit that into Aave here, at which point you would do the final step, which is to borrow enough ETH that covers the difference between the amount of debt in ETH you have and the amount of collateral in staked ETH that you have. You would then swap that ETH for USDC and redeposit that into Aave. And voila, you now have a position that will increase in value as the gap between staked ETH and ETH closes. This position should also be able to weather a reasonably large depegging event, but that's up to you to make sure that you have enough collateral to decrease that risk. But overall, I think it's very unlikely that staked ETH would depeg by that much, especially because a lot of those positions have already been unwound at this point. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.